Hi, Ian Roberts and Mastering Composition. So the studio looks a little different. The garage doors are off and the big studio doors are going in, and I'm really excited. And if it's finished by next week, I'll show you. Also, I was realizing I've got a 17-minute video on really the most important point about structuring good, solid compositions on my website. If you go to my website, ianroberts.com, you just push a button there and you can see it, and it will automatically sign you up to receive these Tuesday videos every Tuesday, and it's the only email I send. I'm not trying to do anything else. It's just that one thing. So it's just convenient to get it, and it is a good video on structure in composition. And I do want to talk about structure again today. 2 weeks ago, I talked about my pre-painting process for that image of the lady in the market, and it was interesting. One person said that they felt that I'd sort of stripped everything away and there was no longer a sense of the market. I'd sort of missed it. And I thought it was really interesting because that lady is what interested me, and those were the choices I made. And obviously somebody else would have different things. But then I realized, well, that's really what art's all about. I'm making choices and getting and digging into those choices. The viewer is going to like them or not like them, but I ultimately am trying to hone in on the thing that was really important to me. And that lady, without a lot of other trappings, was it. And so I wanted to look at structure and at foundation, at the idea of composition as a foundation. You know, if we're building a house, we have a plan for the foundation. And then we put the foundation in, really good and solid, such that our house will stand. And stand for a long time, right? So this week, I'm going to look at a landscape, and I want to go through and show you the image first, and then the structure I'm thinking of, and the big masses of light and dark. And then I'm going to do a drawing. It's just sped up just for about a minute and a half, so you sort of start to see the way I'm thinking of these value masses and how the structure is fitting the value masses. And then next week, it's going to be about 10 by 12, I'm going to do a painting of it. And you'll see, I think, that I know from my experience that the more time I put in before painting and understanding the structure, you're always going to have surprises when you paint. Oh my, I hadn't thought of that. But you won't find yourself, if you go through this process in advance of beginning to paint, you won't find yourself halfway through thinking, I don't even know what to do now, and you get stymied, right? So here's the image, and I hope you enjoy it. I'll see you at the end. So this is the image for this week. I want to look at the structure because obviously we've got strong verticals coming right out here, right? Strong horizontals. Those are the structures of the landscape itself, but then we have what the light is doing, casting a shadow there, casting sort of light here. This is all in shadow. So this is going to be shadow, this is going to be shadow, this is going to be light. There's going to be a patch of blue sky there, and then I'm going to have the light hit a couple of places up here, right along the top of the road, and just in there. And that's where I want you to go, up to here. So you can see the big patterns of horizontal and vertical, and how much structure, well, and the telephone pole too, I suppose, on this side of the road, and how much structure there is underlying the image itself. So I'm going to draw that now, and I'll be leaving out things like that, and that, probably that pole, all the wires, these, this. I'll just be getting rid of them so that I can really start focusing when I draw on those big structures and how the eye is going to be orchestrated to pull us up to here. And as I draw it, and this is the advantage of doing a drawing, as I draw it, I'll be feeling like, oh, this has got to be darker. Oh, this has to be darker. Oh, I need to make this lighter. I mean, that kind of thing. Even as I draw it, I'll be getting a very good sense of how this thing needs to float and move with that structure to get me so that I'm coming up to here. So I have this sped up to about 3 times normal speed, just to show you that I'm blocking in the structure. So now I'm just putting in that great big dark mass. I'm not looking at individual trees. I'm sort of saving a little bit of light there on that tree. But basically, I'm not thinking individual trees. I'm thinking big masses. And there's sort of that, I'm finishing off that big shadow shape that runs along the top of the hills. So I can see that as a big mass there. And then now I'm doing the big shadow shape in the foreground. So I'm really seeing what are my big value masses that are going to carry this painting. So I'm getting the big masses in first, and then I'll start looking at it once it's all blocked in. You know, now I'm going to go to the trees in the sunlight. Just make sure they sort of get some lights and darks in there, but basically it's really well lit, not worrying too much about individual trees, just getting some sort of structure in there. And then now I'm adjusting, once I've finished the block in, I'm sort of, okay, there's too much pull there, it's too light, I need to push there, now I need to make the road a little darker. And I'm just getting a feel for how this thing is going to work. And then when I paint it, I'll already have a sense of what I need to do. And there's the finished drawing. I mean, I'm using the drawing as a tool and preparation for painting. It's not really done a drawing in its own right. But there's the dark mass and the second dark mass. And there's the lights up here where I want to find, you know, in the end to go. And I've learned a lot about this image in drawing it like this, so that I have got a foundation that I can be building the painting on, as opposed to getting a third of the way or half of the way into my painting and realizing, oh my God, what am I going to do now about that? So you might be thinking, but Ian, I just want to paint. And I understand, but my experience, long, hard experience on this thing, is the more time that you put in before, the higher the chance of success. And I think many people think that, oh, great artists, they just pick up their brush and they go, and don't understand the amount of work that goes in advance of representational painting before you actually begin. So next week, I'm going to paint that. And I think now, with the amount of pre-thinking I've got here, my chances of success are going to be pretty high. I mean, something might go wrong, of course, but on the whole, I think I've got a pretty clear idea of what I want to do and how I want to simplify it and how I'm going to make it work. So please do like the video if you did, subscribe. You can go to my website and sign up for that 17-minute video and get these emails or videos as an email every Tuesday. And this is a big week in the US because we get the election coming up, and I hope it all turns out well and there's no funny business going on afterward and it gets chaotic or anything like that. I hope it's just smooth and clean and whatever happens, happens. And I hope you're well. I hope your family's well. And I wish you the best. And I will see you next Tuesday.